Hi, my name is Sophie Yonker, and I have the absolute pleasure of introducing Anna Douglas Piper. Now, whenever you think of Anna Douglas, you might see her as the cute little redhead who has been on student council for who knows how long. But the class of 23 sees her as the chaotic, funny, and incredibly kind girl that she is. I have grown up with Anna Douglas at St. Mary's for the past 6 years now, and I can confidently say that I have seen many different sides of her. My favorite moments of Anna Douglas were from the 8th grade trip to Washington, D.C. On the trip, she had the brilliant idea to send everyone a picture of her holding the Washington Monument in her hand from years ago. This was not just sent to everyone in the GroupMe, but she also had the bright idea to airdrop it to every teacher there with us. You're welcome, Miss Lytle, Miss Carroll. I'm pretty sure everyone in our grade has that photo somewhere in their camera roll now. Another great memory from that trip is when all of us were crying while walking in the cold, windy weather, miserable beyond your wildest imagination. Anna Douglas explained this matter by screaming to the entire corner of the street, "How to be a Southern tourist! Scream whenever the weather changes!" Besides being funny, Anna Douglas is also incredibly smart. In most of my English classes this past year, she has asked some of the most intelligent questions that I can't begin to answer. She always wants to take in knowledge and learn new things every single day. She is always there to lend a helping hand when someone really needs it, and she does it with grace and ease. I truly admire her beautiful personality and nature to care for others. I know she has something amazing to offer us today, so give it up for the class of 2023's very own Student Council President, Anna Douglas Piper.
Since I can remember, I have been compared to Hermione Granger. If you don't know this Harry Potter protagonist, then that's your own fault, but if you do, you probably understand the likeness. This comparison was sometimes a slightly backhanded compliment, as she is characterized by being a frizzy-haired, overbearing know-it-all, but I accepted it. I see the comparison, plus she's awesome. However, another trait Hermione and I share in common is our attitude towards time. In one of the movies, Hermione has a device called a time turner. Still an overbearing know-it-all, Hermione packs her schedule so tightly that she has to use a magical device to turn back the clock and repeat her class periods, allowing her to schedule multiple at once. She is so worried about getting things done that she genuinely has to defy the laws of physics. I am scared of time. I have long struggled to place this feeling into words, but the best way I can describe it is by explaining my most common stress dream. Picture this. You are standing in a grocery store with a list of items to purchase. You begin to walk around and search for your items, but everything looks wrong and the aisles are moving and you've never been in the store before and everything is just wrong. When I have this dream, I eventually find my first item. However, due to distractions or whatever else, it has somehow taken me hours to get there. By the time I find my second item, a full day has passed and it's dark outside. I usually wake up crying. 99% of my life, I feel like I'm rushing. This has led to a fixation of mine on efficiency. Because I always feel like I'm running out of time, every moment must be spent accomplishing something productive. Even when I don't have anywhere to be and I have a moment to relax, I see this rest as a goal, a mere chore that I have to include in order to be able to function properly. Inherently, we as a society treat time as a commodity, a thing to be possessed. This is evident even in the way we speak. We spend time, we waste time, we give time, all implying that time is something that we can have and control. Good old Steve Heimler from Heimler's History puts it well. He argues that our idea of our relationship to time will lead to constant overwhelm. We exist in a system where we basically try to beat time. We think if we can work far enough ahead, be organized enough, then we somehow win. Unfortunately, humans are finite creatures. By nature, we have limitations, and we cannot defy the laws of physics of the time turner in order to get it all done. In December of 2021, I found out my stepfather was going to die. A very long story short, he had been battling leukemia on and off for the past 5 or so years. He was no stranger to risk or negative diagnoses, but this was different. On December 1st, 2021, we found out with no maybe, no uncertainty, in the plainest of terms, he was going to die. Alongside his fatal diagnosis, our family had been given a rough estimate of about a month of time remaining. My worst nightmare, I was actually running out of time. My whole life, I had fought against the current of the passing hours, creating a fear that was largely mental and could be eased with some logic. However, this was different. There was a clock ticking down on the days we had left with him. My fear was no longer a larger worry that I could put out of my mind by remembering how much life I had yet to live. It was all around me, and it permeated every aspect of my life. My first instinct was to try to prepare myself, making mental lists of everything I wanted to ask him or tell him before he was gone. I now know that this feeling is called anticipatory grief, a feeling of grief that occurs before an impending loss. I had a finite amount of time, and I had no idea how to cram years' worth of a parental relationship into a month. In the midst of this spiral, I froze. So wrapped up in the future, I was unable to consider the present, and I felt stuck. My stepdad did die, a month and a half later. Though his final months were spent with family, and we all got to share some truly special moments, I mourned the time I could have spent simply existing with him. Instead of sitting on the couch and watching TV with him, I was so worried about the future that I spiraled alone in my room, avoiding the situation altogether. The noise of the ticking clock drowned out what was actually happening around me. If any of us ever wants to ease this constant sense of overwhelm, we need to remember how to exist. I don't mean live in the moment, because I think anyone who tells you they know what that means is lying. I just mean exist. Not achieving, not going, not working, not nothing. Just stop and be. It sounds comically simple, yet we don't live in an environment that makes this easy. The world is screaming at you to go as fast as you can, but that doesn't even make sense. The passage of time is not something you can fight. Senior year has its own ticking clock in the background. If there was 1 year for me to be stressed about time, it's certainly now. We are quite literally counting down the days on a whiteboard until we leave, and almost every event is introduced as last. So, here we are. Last senior speech, and exactly 30 days remaining for the seniors not to freak anyone out. And here we are. Think about that for a moment. The sheer number of senior speeches you have heard in these walls, the sheer amount of chapel talks, the chapel announcements. Yet, here we are. Maybe that is kind of cool if you think about it. That time does continue on. Life keeps going no matter what happens. We would all be a lot happier and a lot more relaxed if we could take at least one moment every day to exist, to find the beauty in between the cracks of the chaos, and to appreciate the little things that make us happy. Lastly, I think we should all take inspiration from the screenshot that has lived on my desktop since middle school. This fine artwork features a doodle of a green octopus holding flowers. On it, the writing reads, "Octopus didn't know if God was real, or if there was a Big Bang, or if he was just a fragment of someone's imagination. But he had today, and he had flowers. I challenge you to exist in today and to find your own flowers. It is well worth the time spent." Thank you.